गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. First of all, offer my millions of obeisances to lotus feet of Asmade Guru Pad Padma, Vitala Prashtajet Guru Shishmad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Tiranti Swami Shishmad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj, Nam Nishta Santa Shri Aniruddhas Prabhuji, all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, please accept my humble obeisances. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam called Bhagavad Puran, Canto 2, the chapter entitled The Cosmic Manifestation. The chapter is called The First Step in God Realization. The verse number is 39. Sa sarvadhi vrityanubhuta sarva atma yathas swapna janekshitaika tam satyamananda nidhim bhajeta nanyatra sajjet yata atmapataha. Sa he, the Supreme Person, sarvadhi vritti, the process of realization by all sorts of intelligence. Anubhuta, cognizant. Sarve, everyone. Atma, the super soul. Yatha, as much as. Swapna jana, a person dreaming. Ikshita, seen by. Ekaha, one and the same. Tam, unto him. Satyam, the supreme truth. Ananda nidhim, the ocean of bliss. Bhajeta, must one worship. Na, never. Anyatra, anything else. Sajjet, be attached, yataha, whereby, atmapataha, degradation of oneself. Translation: one should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams. One must concentrate the mind on him, the only all blissful absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled and will cause his own degradation. In this verse, the process of devotional service is indicated by the great Goswami Srila Shukdev. He tries to impress upon us that instead of diverting our attention to several branches of self-realization, we should concentrate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the supreme object of realization, worship, and devotion. Self-realization is, as it were, offering a fight for eternal life against the material struggle for existence. And therefore, by the illusory grace of the external energy, the yogi or the devotee is faced with many allurements which can entangle a great fighter again in the bondage of material existence. A yogi can attain miraculous successes in material achievements such as anima and lagima, by which one can become more minute than the minutest or lighter than the lightest. Or in the ordinary sense, one may achieve material benedictions in the shape of wealth and women. But one is warned against such allurements because entanglements, because entanglement again in such illusory pleasure means degradation of the self and further imprisonment in the material world. By this warning, one should follow one's vigilant intelligence only. The Supreme Lord is one and his expansions are various. He is therefore the super soul of everything. When a man sees anything, he must know that his seeing is secondary and the Lord's seeing is primary. One cannot see anything without the Lord's having first seen it. That is the instruction of the Vedas and the Upanishads. So, whatever we see or do, the super soul of all acts of seeing or doing is the Lord. This theory of simultaneous oneness and difference between the individual soul and the super soul is propounded by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the philosophy of Achinta Bhedabhed Tattva. This philosophy is propounded by Lord Chaitanya as Achinta Bhedabhed Tattva. Everything is simultaneously one and different from everything else. The cosmic manifestation created by the Supreme Lord by his material energy is also simultaneously different and non-different from him. The material energy is non-different from the Supreme Lord, but at the same time, because that energy is acting in a different way, it is different from him. Similarly, The individual living entity is one with and different from the Supreme Lord. This simultaneously one and different philosophy is the perfect conclusion of the Bhagavad school, as confirmed here by Kapil Dev. This is from the purport of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 3, chapter 28, text 41. The Virat Roop, or the gigantic feature of the Supreme Lord, includes everything materially manifested, and therefore the Virat or gigantic feature of the Lord is the super soul of all living and non living entities. But the Virat Roop is also the manifestation of Narayan or Vishnu. And going further on, one will eventually see that Lord Krishna is the ultimate super soul of everything that be. The conclusion is that one should unhesitatingly become a worshipper of Lord Krishna, or for that matter, his plenary expansion, Narayan, and none else. In the Vedic hymns, it is clearly said that first of all, Narayan cast a glance over matter, and thus there was creation. Before creation, there was neither Brahma nor Shiva, and what to speak of others. Shipa Shankaracharya has definitely accepted this, that Narayan is beyond the material creation, and that all others are within the material creation. The whole material creation, therefore, is one with and different from Narayan. Simultaneously, this supports the Achinta Vedaved Tattva philosophy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being an explanation, being an emanation from the glancing potency of Narayan. The whole material creation is non different from him. But because it is the effect of his external energy, Bahiranga Maya, and is aloof from the internal potency, Atma Maya, the whole material creation is different from him at the same time. The example given in this verse very nicely is that of the dreaming man. The dreaming man creates many things in his dream, and thus he himself becomes the entangled seer of the dream and is also affected by the consequences. This material creation is also exactly a dream-like creation of the Lord, but he, being the transcendental supersoul, is neither entangled nor affected by the reactions of such a dream-like creation. He is always in his transcendental position, but essentially he is everything, and nothing is apart from him. As a part of him, one should therefore concentrate on him only without deviation. Otherwise, one is sure to be overcome by the potencies of the material creation, one after another. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.7 as follows. सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकां कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादो विसृजाम्यहम्. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, every material manifestation enters into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I again create. The human life, however, is an opportunity to get out of this repetition of creation and annihilation. It is a means whereby one may escape the Lord's external potency and enter into his internal potency. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second canto, first chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled The First Step in God Realization. Hare Krishna. Vanchākalpatarubhasya krupā sindhuvya paritānām pāvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.